Understanding Fiction by Cleanth and Robert Penn Warren stands as a companion volume to Understanding Poetry and extends the principles of close reading and formal analysis to prose narrative. Conceived as a teaching text, the book challenges dominant methods that treated fiction primarily as social history, moral instruction, or biographical evidence. It trains students to approach the short story and novel as carefully shaped artistic structures, insisting that meaning arises from the internal relations among narrative elements rather than from external explanations. The opening chapters address the fundamental nature of fiction and what it means to understand a narrative. Brooks and Warren argue that fiction does not merely imitate life but selects, organizes, and interprets experience through form. Early chapters introduce students to the idea that plot, character, and setting are not independent features but mutually reinforcing aspects of a unified design. Through close analysis of representative stories, readers are taught to attend to how narrative choices guide perception and shape meaning. Several chapters focus on plot and narrative structure, redefining plot as more than a sequence of events. Brooks and Warren emphasize the importance of arrangement, causality, and pacing in fiction. They demonstrate how the beginnings establish expectations, middles complicate meaning, and endings provide resolution or deliberate openness. These chapters show that the ordering of events is itself a form of commentary, revealing the author's interpretive stance toward experience and directing the reader's emotional and intellectual response. Characterization receives sustained attention in subsequent chapters. Brooks and Warren resist treating fictional characters as real people whose psychology can be explained independently of the text. They argue that characters must be understood through their function within the story's structure. Dialogue, action, and relationship to other characters are analyzed as formal devices that contribute to thematic unity. These chapters train readers to see character not as isolated personality, but as a component of narrative meaning. Another major section of the book examines point of view and narrative voice. Brooks and Warren carefully distinguish between author and narrator, helping students recognize how perspective shapes truth in fiction. Chapters on first person narration, limited and omniscient viewpoints, and unreliable narrators reveal how irony and ambiguity emerge from narrative stance. By analyzing shifts in perspective and tone, readers learn that fiction often presents experience indirectly, requiring interpretive alertness rather than passive acceptance. The book also devotes chapters to setting, symbolism, and theme, always emphasizing their integration into the narrative whole. Setting is shown to be more than background, often functioning symbolically to reflect or intensify conflict. Symbolism is treated as an organic extension of narrative action rather than a detachable meanings. Theme, in turn, is presented not as a moral lesson but as an implied pattern of significance emerging from the interaction of all elements. These chapters discourage reductive readings and reinforce the idea of unity. In its later chapters, Understanding Fiction addresses interpretation and evaluation. Brooks and Warren caution against paraphrasing fiction into abstract statements or judging it solely by personal response. They encourage interpretations grounded in textual evidence and sensitivity to form. The short story is given particular emphasis as an ideal genre for close reading, though the principles outlined are applicable to longer prose narratives as well.